Chicago, Illinois, February 20th, 1893. The wind howled off Lake Michigan like a banshee from the old country, rattling the frosted windows of the Rivers and Sons Bank. Ethan Rivers stood at his mahogany desk, his calloused fingers tracing the ledger's final entries. At 42, he was a man forged in the fires of the Irish famine and American ambition. Broad-shouldered, with storm-gray eyes and a jaw set like the cliffs of Moher, his black frock coat hung heavy with the weight of responsibility, not just for his depositors, but for the hundreds of families whose life savings propped up this gilded facade on State Street. The air inside was thick with the scent of ink, polished brass, and the faint metallic tang of gold coins stacked in the teller's cages below. Ethan wiped sweat from his brow despite the winter chill seeping through the cracks. His bank had been his fortress for 15 years, built brick by brick from the pennies of immigrants like himself, who fled the potato blight in '47 and washed up on these shores with nothing but hope and hunger. "Pa, the lobby's filling up again," whispered his daughter Lily from the doorway. 18 years old, with her mother's auburn curls pinned under a modest bonnet, she clutched a stack of telegrams. Her green eyes, sharp as cut emeralds, betrayed the fear she tried to hide. Lily had taken to the bank like a hawk to the hunt, helping with correspondence since her mother Fiona passed 3 years prior from the consumption that swept the tenements like a scythe. Ethan glanced at the clock, 9:47 a.m. 12 days before Grover Cleveland's inauguration, and the whispers of panic were already deafening. The Philadelphia and Reading Railroad had gone into receivership yesterday. Overextended tracks crumbling under debt like a house of cards. Foreign investors were dumping American stocks, gold flowing out to London and Paris faster than whiskey at an Irish wake. The ticker tape machine in the corner chattered incessantly, spitting out ribbons of doom. Baring Brothers' collapse in Argentina still echoing, Australian banks teetering. "Keep 'em calm, love. Smile like it's St. Patrick's Day." He forced a grin, but his gut twisted like a knife in the famine bellies he remembered from childhood. The Sherman Silver Purchase Act was draining the Treasury's gold reserves. Gresham's Law in action. Bad money chasing out the good. Silver flooded the market from the mines of Colorado and Nevada. Wheat prices crashed to 55 cents a bushel. And now, railroads were the first dominoes to fall. Lily nodded, smoothing her gray wool skirt before descending the creaking stairs to the marble lobby. Below, a line snaked from the teller's cages. Farmers from the Illinois prairies with calloused hands and sun-leathered faces. Shopkeepers from the Loop, clutching leather pouches. Widows in threadbare shawls with passbooks yellowed with age. "Good morning, Mrs. O'Malley. Your balance is secure, $123, as always," Lily said to a trembling woman whose husband had lost an arm in the Pullman strikes. Her voice was steady despite the tremor in her hands, a skill learned from watching her father face down depositors during the '87 crash. Mrs. O'Malley clutched the passbook to her chest. "God bless you, Miss Lily. With the silver floodin' in, I fear it's all paper now. No more real money." Lily squeezed her hand. "The gold's in the vault, ma'am. 8 tons of it, solid as the Rock of Cashel." Upstairs in the oak-paneled office, Ethan's brother, Clarence Rivers, paced like a caged wolf. 10 years Ethan's junior, Clarence was the polished counterpart, Yale-educated at his uncle's expense, with a pencil-thin mustache waxed to perfection and a taste for Havana cigars, smuggled past the McKinley Tariff's 50% duties. He was the Sons in Rivers and Sons, the one who charmed Wall Street brokers over oysters at Rector's and whispered deals in smoke-filled saloons off LaSalle Street. Ethan, the national cordage stock is tanking faster than a drunk off the Clark Street Bridge. If it hits receivership, we're next, Clarence hissed, waving a fresh ticker tape ribbon like a white flag of surrender. The rope monopoly's shares had been the darling of speculators just months ago. Now they were confetti in a hurricane, down 20% in a week. We hold gold, 8 tons in the vault downstairs. That's our armor against this storm. Ethan jabbed a finger toward the massive vault door at the end of the hall, reinforced with steel plates from Andrew Carnegie's mills in Pittsburgh. The combination was whispered only to him and Clarence. 1893, for Lily's birth year and this cursed one ahead. But even as he spoke, a messenger boy burst through the door, breathless, cap askew, snow melting off his boots onto the Persian rug. Mr. Rivers, wire from New York, Dow's down 8% already this morning. Baring Brothers echoes from Argentina. Europeans pulling funds hand over fist. And wheat's at 52 cents. Clarence's face drained of color, his cigar dropping ash onto the floor. Ethan felt the floor shift beneath his polished boots. It was happening. The panic everyone had feared since the silver gluts of '87, when Jay Gould's manipulations nearly toppled the markets. By noon, the lobby had transformed into a madhouse. Shouts echoed off the 20-foot ceilings. "Give me my gold, you paddy thief!" bellowed a burly teamster from the stockyards, his fists pounding the marble counter like hammers on an anvil. His wife tugged at his sleeve, 2 children clinging to her skirts. Lily intervened, slipping between the crowd with the grace of a dancer, her voice cutting through the din like a telegraph wire. "Sir, please. Our reserves are solid as the Treasury itself. President Cleveland will repeal the Sherman Act come spring. Stability by Easter, mark my words." The teamster grumbled, but stepped back, muttering about silver cranks and populist rabble-rousers. But the dam was cracking. A telegram from the U.S. Treasury arrived via pneumatic tube. Reserves dipping below $100 million for the first time since the war. Whispers spread like cholera through the tenements. "No federal insurance. They'll lose it all. Run while you can." Ethan retreated to his office, the walls lined with ledgers bound in calfskin and framed photos of his arrival at Ellis Island. A scrawny boy of 12 with eyes too big for his face. He poured a finger of scotch from a crystal decanter. Contraband from Canada. Bitter as regret on his tongue. Clarence slumped into a leather armchair, loosening his silk cravat. "We need a loan from Morgan. JP himself. He's buying up gold dips like a vulture on carrion." "No. Morgan's a vampire sucking the life from honest men. He'll own us body and soul." Ethan had seen it before. The robber barons feasting on the carcass of overbuilt railroads, foreclosing on farms from Dakota to Kansas. Clarence leaned forward, eyes gleaming like polished coins. "Brother, think of Lily's future. The house on the Gold Coast with lake views, her marriage to young Harrington from the Armour stockyards. We can't lose it all to these populists and their silver fairy tales. William Jennings Bryan howling about Cross of Gold already." Ethan sighed, rubbing his temples. Harrington was a decent lad, 22, heir to meatpacking millions with a gentle manner and prospects brighter than the gaslights on the Midway. Lily deserved ball gowns and security, not ledgers stained with ink and the endless grind of balancing books. But pride burned hot in his chest, a fire from the old sod. "We'll weather it, like the famine, like the '73 panic. River's blood doesn't bend." Dusk fell early over the loop. Gas lamps flickering to life along State Street, casting long shadows that danced like specters. The bank closed its heavy oak doors with a deficit for the day. More withdrawals than deposits. The vault lighter by 200 pounds of gold eagles. Ethan locked the vault personally, turning the wheel with hands steady from years of practice, the clank echoing like a death knell. That night, in their modest brownstone off Michigan Avenue, 3 stories of red brick with lace curtains and a pumpkin pine floor polished by Lily's hand. Dinner was tense as a hangman's noose. Lily served mutton stew from the icebox, thickened with potatoes from the market, while her younger brother Tommy, 12 and freckled as a fox, chattered obliviously about the Cubs' spring training. "Pa, will the bank be like your stories of '73, folks eatin' shoe leather and sellin' kids for bread?" Tommy's eyes were wide. Spoon paused midair. "Hush, lad. Eat your supper." Ethan ruffled the boy's red hair, but sleep evaded him that night. He lay awake in the four-poster bed, staring at the ceiling cracks that mirrored the fissures in his ledgers. Dreams came unbidden. Dublin docks in '47, starving siblings with bellies swollen from hunger, gold sovereigns slipping through skeletal fingers into the Liffey. "We'll not go back there," he whispered to the dark. February 23rd dawned bitter. Cleveland's inauguration just 9 days away. Ethan rose at first light, hitching the buggy to the First National Bank downtown amid swirling snowflakes. Brokers buzzed like hornets in the trading pits. "Silver's at 30 cents an ounce. Farms foreclosing from here to the Rockies. McKinley tariff killing exports." Back at Rivers & Sons by 10, Clarence was closeted in the office with a visitor. Elias Thorne, a silver-haired magnate from New York, rumored to be an agent for the Rothschilds or worse. His suit was Savile Row perfection, diamond cufflinks glinting like eyes in the shadows. Ethan eavesdropped from the hallway, heart pounding. Gold drain accelerating like Niagara. Treasury at 98 million. Sell short the rails. Profit from the panic before repeal. Thorne's voice was silk over steel, smooth as the bribes he no doubt peddled. Clarence's reply was hushed. "And Rivers & Sons? We're overextended on prairie loans. Join the syndicate, Morgan's Circle, or be crushed like national cordage, rope snapping under its own weight." Ethan burst through the door, face thunderous. "Out, Thorne. We don't gamble with widows' mites or farmers' blood. Take your vampire whispers elsewhere." Thorne smirked, adjusting his pearl stickpin with manicured fingers. "Famine, Irish-playing banker. How amusing. The panic comes for all Rivers, highborn or bog-trotter." He swept out, leaving a trail of expensive cologne. Clarence shot Ethan a venomous glare. "You just signed our death warrant, brother." Thorne's connected to every power in New York. March deepened the chill, both literal and financial. Wheat crashed to 55 cents a bushel on the Board of Trade, prairies emptying into bread lines snaking through the stockyards. Rivers & Sons depositors dwindled as rumors spread, but loans soured fast. Farmers defaulting on mortgages. Colorado silver mines idled with layoffs hitting thousands. Unemployment whispers reached 10% in Illinois. Hobos riding the rods into Chicago yards. Lily threw herself into advocacy. Her journalist's fire ignited. She drafted pamphlets for the Knights of Labor meetings in Haymarket Square, the very place of the '86 bombing still scarred in memory. "Repeal Sherman, free the gold standard, no more silver snake oil poisoning our veins." She slipped one under Ethan's blotter, eyes defiant. "Pa, the populists march on Washington. Brian calls it Cross of Gold. The people demand justice." "You're playing with fire, girl. Strike as an anarchist'll get you killed." But pride swelled in Ethan's chest. His Lily, a crusader with pen sharper than any sword. April 2nd brought the thunderclap. Treasury announces gold reserves below $100 million. Panic ignited nationwide like dry tinder. Bank runs erupted from Spokane to Savannah. In Whitman County alone, 21 institutions shuttered overnight. In Chicago, lines encircled city blocks, from the First National to the humble savings and loans in Pilsen. Rivers & Sons held, barely. Ethan rationed withdrawals ruthlessly. $50 in gold maximum per family. IOUs for the rest. Fistfights erupted in the lobby, a farmer's elbow cracking a shopkeeper's nose. A widow from the West Division fainted dead away, her passbook fluttering like a dying bird to the floor. Lily knelt to revive her with smelling salts, whispering assurances amid the chaos. Clarence vanished midday on April 10th, returning at dusk reeking of cigars and bourbon from the Palmer House saloon. Morgan. Line of credit secured. If we pledge the vault as collateral. Thorne brokered it. Never! We'd be chattel to those Wall Street butchers. Ethan's fist clenched around his silver watch fob, engraved with a shamrock. That same evening, a package arrived unmarked at the back door. A wooden crate, heavy as lead. Clarence pried it open in the basement vault room under gaslight. Stacks of silver bars, stamped U.S. Treasury mint marks. Insurance against the run, he muttered, sweat beading on his brow. Ethan recoiled as if scorched. Sherman Silver, you'll counterfeit us straight to hell and the penitentiary. It's profit, brother. Sell high before Cleveland axes the act. Thorne's syndicate guarantees buyers. Fury boiled in Ethan's veins like poteen. Get it out. Burn it if you must. We're bankers, not coin clippers. But dawn of May 3rd brought Armageddon unbidden. The ticker screamed like a dying man. Massive sell-off across the boards. National Cordage plunged into receivership. The Rope Trust, snapping under its debts, dragging down suppliers from hemp fields to twine mills. May 5th, Black Friday reborn. The Dow Jones plunged 24% in a single session. Shares vaporized in minutes, brokers weeping in the pits. Chicago's Board of Trade was a slaughterhouse of screams, men leaping from high windows onto LaSalle Street below, splattering the cobblestones. Rivers and Sons lobby devolved into pandemonium. "My life's savings, you crooks," screamed a Polish tailor from the Maxwell Street markets, shoving Lily aside with meaty paws. Glass shattered. A brick hurled through the transom window, scrawled in chalk. "Thieves, give us our gold." Ethan manned the counter himself, broad back to the vault, dispensing eagles and double eagles until his hands bled from the sharp edges of the coins. "Order, we're solvent. 8 tons started this morning." But lies tasted like ash. The vault was down to 60%. Clarence whispered urgently amid the fray. "Vault's at 60% now. We're done if the run holds till close." By 5 o'clock, 100 banks nationwide had shuttered their doors. Ethan locked up with trembling hands, Lily bandaging a cut on her forehead from a flying elbow. Tommy waited outside with a neighbor, eyes red-rimmed. "Pa, are we poor now, like the hobos?" "Worse, lad. We're hunted by wolves in frock coats." Night cloaked the city in gloom. Ethan patrolled the vault alone, lantern casting elongated shadows like demons from Dante. A noise pierced the silence, scratching at the back alley door like rat's claws. He grabbed the derringer from his desk drawer, cocking the hammer with a snick. Clarence stumbled in through the shadows, wild-eyed, blood staining his white cuff from a gash. "Thorne's men, roughnecks from the levees. They know about the silver stash. Said if we don't join the syndicate by dawn, they'll run us into the ground tomorrow. Fake a run, empty us dry." Ethan leveled the pistol, steady as granite. "You invited those wolves to our door, Clarence, with your silver schemes. I did it for us. For Lily's wedding, Tommy's schooling, not this slow bleed." Clarence pleaded, hands raised. Lily entered then, lantern held high, casting golden light on their faces. "Pa, fresh telegram via boy. Treasury crisis full-blown. Cleveland calls Congress into special session next week." Ethan lowered the gun slowly, barrel drooping. "We fight clean, no syndicates, no silver lies tainting our name." But as the three embraced in the dim light, family against the storm, a shadow flickered outside the grimy window. Thorne's silhouette, tall and predatory, watching with eyes like cold steel. May 6th dawned with hordes swelling to thousands outside Rivers and Sons. Policemen in blue woolens clubbed back the mob with billy clubs, horses whinnying in panic. Ethan released the last of the gold reserves, vault echoing hollow now, a cavernous tomb. Clarence bolted at noon, horse and buggy, vanishing into the loop chaos. "To Morgan's men! Save what we can!" Alone with Lily, Ethan faced the roaring crowd from the granite steps, voice raw as sandpaper. "My friends, neighbors, panic grips Wall Street like cholera. Rails bankrupt from Philly to the Pacific. Gold flees to Europe on steamers. But Rivers and Sons honors every dime owed. IOUs signed in my blood if need be. Cleveland will repeal Sherman, hold faith in gold, in America." Some cheered raggedly, fists pumping. Others spat curses, calling him Paddy Robber. A rock sailed from the rear, grazing Lily's temple. Blood trickled warm down her cheek. She didn't flinch, standing tall. That night, fire bloomed like hellfire. Arson. A torch through the alley window. Flames licked up the ledger room walls, devouring years of trust on yellowed paper. Ethan dragged Lily coughing from the inferno, lungs burning with smoke, into the starry night. Tommy was safe with neighbors, pounding on the door in terror. Rivers and Sons smoldered till dawn, a pyre for immigrant dreams amid the acrid stench. Clarence had vanished, fled east to New York syndicates. At first light, May 7th, Ethan sifted the ruins amid firemen hosing embers. The massive vault door warped and ajar from the heat. Inside, not the expected void. A single gold bar nestled in ash, unmarked save for faint engraving. Shadow, 1893. Heavy as original sin, gleaming defiantly. Whose plant? Morgan's bait, a loyal depositor's secret gift, or Clarence's final treacherous gambit. Lily bandaged his blistered hands gently. "Pa, we rebuild from these ashes, like Phoenix." Ethan pocketed the bar deep in his coat, feeling its weight like fate. "No, love, we run. To the heart of the beast, Washington. Before Thorne's syndicate buries us forever. This gold, it whispers secrets, and will follow." The panic of 1893 had cracked the vault wide, but deeper fissures yawned ahead. Family betrayals, silver curses woven into gold, and a shadow that would chase them across the Republic. Chapter 2. The Shadow Run, Chicago, Illinois, May 8, 1893. Ethan Rivers sifted through the ashes of his bank at first light. Charred beams groaned under their own weight. The vault door hung crooked, warped by fire. He lifted the gold bar from the debris, heavy, cold, its surface etched with Shadow 1893. No treasury stamp, no mint mark, just those words cut deep as a miner's grudge. 30 pounds of metal that could buy a farm or bury a man. Lily pressed a rag to her bandaged temple. Smoke still curled from her singed curls. "Pa, 500 banks gone nationwide. Chicago's next. Thorne did this." Her voice cut sharp, green eyes locked on the bar. She knew the telegrams by heart. Spokane's 21 failures, prairies stripped bare, jobless men marching. Tommy tugged Ethan's sleeve. Freckles stood out on his pale face. "We runnin', Pa? Like the Spuds failed back home?" Ethan knelt, gripped the boy's shoulders. "We chase the truth, lad. Washington. Cleveland ends Sherman Silver tomorrow. This bar pays our way." He wrapped it in oilcloth, tucked it into the saddlebag. Weight pulled at his belt like an anchor in a storm. They loaded the buggy with blankets, hardtack, a jug of water. Old Bess stamped in the alley muck. Michigan Avenue swarmed. Bread lines coiled past boarded shops. Ex-rail hands from Redding's wreck rattled tin cups. Populists barked, 16-1. Bryan tracks fluttered in fists. A newsboy shoved papers under noses. "Cordage bust. Dow drops 24%. Gold flees east. Ethan scanned for Clarence. Silence. His brother slithered toward New York, no doubt kissing Morgan's ring. Pinkerton shadows flickered in doorways. Thorn's reach. Ethan cracked the reins. South to the yards. Knights run free trains. Union stock yards reeked of stalled slaughter. Armor pens empty. Workers spat pink slips into gutters. A striker with coal-black hands waved them to a siding. Rivers, your fires talk of the camps. Boxcar to D.C. Bryan calls all against gold bugs. The train jerked south. Boxcar rattled over ties. Walls screamed, free silver. Ethan traded bar secrets for seats. Treasury gold, ripped from the drain. For farmers. Truth bent just enough. Prairies unrolled. Wheat fields shimmered, sold now for 52 cents a bushel. Tommy pointed at riders. Leadville miners, picks idle from silver glut. Farm wives with eyes like drained wells, tariffs crushing their corn. Campfire halt near Springfield. Big Mike O'Rourke passed whiskey. Panic chews everything, Ethan. Bearing blue Argentina in 90. Europeans yank gold. 97 million left in treasury. Cleveland begs Morgan bonds. Lily edged closer. Clarence met Thorn. Rothschild whispers. Short rails, feast on runs. O'Rourke's laugh barked dry. Thorn owns the street. Your brothers meet! Ethan's fingers dug into the hidden bar. Straw scratched his skin. Clarence, blood or not, crossed lines no kin returns from. Dawn whistles split fog. Pinkerton swept rails. Shots popped. Mike shoved. Break! They crashed into brush, splashed Kaskaskia mud. Bess bolted, wild. Tommy whimpered in a corncrib hide. Hooves thundered past. No coincidence, Lily breathed. Bar or silver stash. Cairo by noon. Mississippi Fork. Tents sprawled like plague sores. Steamboats loaded cotton ghosts. Ethan haggled his watch for City of Memphis berth to Louisville. Ohio River boiled mud. Lily cornered a scribe in the saloon deck. Courier-Journal. Banks fold, gold hoards. Repeal date? House votes soon, miss. Senate drags. Morgan floats private gold. Saves treasury. Owns it after. Ethan gripped rail till knuckles whitened. They drink our blood for sport. Cabins that night. Tommy burned with trail fever. Shadows talk, Pa. Lily hummed cradle songs from Cork. Voice threading dark. Louisville, May 10th. Rails clogged dead freights. Headlines screamed. Riots Detroit. Banks shutter nationwide. Ethan unloaded crates for B&O tickets east. Station trap snapped. Pinstripe thug. Thorn's scar-faced dog. Blocked. Rivers. Boss claims vault gold. Syndicate due. Ethan drew Derringer. Step off. Man charged. Butt cracked skull. Body dropped. Lily pulled Tommy through rally crush. 16-1. Orators thundered. Silver icons high. Train clawed east. Pennsylvania slag mountains loomed. Steel mills starved. Pittsburgh, May 12th. Carnegie shadows. Militia cracked striker skulls. Ethan wired nights in D.C. Safe house pledged. Bar grew leaden. Lantern check in a jolt. Shadow 1893. Faint Latin trailed. Aurum ex umbris. Gold from shades. Mint rune. Curse script. Lily traced it. Silver witch from minor tales. Panic gold claims thieves. Folklore. Ethan folded cloth tight. But nights whispered back. Altoona yards. Midnight halt. Pinkertons. Lanterns raked. Ethan stacked crates barricade. Lead-chewed wood. Roof! They scrambled. Rain-lashed faces. Tommy clung couplings, train inching. Grapnel snagged Lily's hem. Pinkerton yanked. Ethan swung bag. Bar thudded bone. Man tumbled screaming. Jumped near Harrisburg. Legs buckled in clay. Quaker widow's farm. Cornmeal porridge. Attic loft. Foreclosed my kin. Panic eats all. May 14th. Bikes stolen south. Philadelphia. Panic womb. Redding's tomb, riots boiled streets, bayonets pinned marchers. Locket pawned, guilt clawed. Reading office murmurs, Clarence seen with Thorne, deal sealed. Snake sheds no skin for kin, Ethan muttered. Washington caravan joined. Wagons groaned under populist hordes, silver flags snapped. Roads sucked boots, fever culls weak. Fire-lit yarns, Sherman flood, Australian crash ripples, Europe starves U.S. credit. Lily swapped tales with Sadie, miner's girl. Leadville ghosts vein silver like your bar, mister. Tommy sketched shadow figures, fever dreams. Potomac crossed May 20th. D.C. steamed under marble lies. Pennsylvania Avenue jammed, homespun farmers, shrieking widows. Knight's row house, DuPont fringes. Colonel Hayes clasped hands. Legend Rivers, repeal house tomorrow. Door note at dusk, shadow gold. Lily pays else, syndicate. Ethan hefted bar. Ends tonight. Congress pulsed. Lily slipped gallery as press. Brian roared. Cross of gold shall not crucify. Roar shook rafters. Saloon near Willard. Thorne's den. Brandy Hayes, power deals. Clarence draped Thorne's arm. Guffaws loud. Ethan. Clarence froze. You torched home. Silver lies for this. Thorne's pin gleamed. Irish cur. Bar returns or whelps bleed. Derringer leveled. Room iced. Justice claims it now. Drained depositors. Fists flew. Ethan smashed Clarence's jaw. Snatched Thorne's ledger. Names. Shorts. Morgan Webb's. Alleys. Swallowed them. Lily. Tommy waited. Proof. Poison fruit. Thorne closes in. May 22nd. House repeals Sherman. Crowds surged wild. Reserves bled on. Midnight raid. Pinkerton's splintered door. Hayes gutshot down. Ethan fired. Barr felled 2 skulls. Mall alleys to boathouse. Lincoln gazed blind. Breath ragged. Tommy. It hungers blood, Pa. Ledger in Lily's grip. Bribes to Cleveland men. Which real? Dawn carriage. Senator's man. White House. Show proof. Clarence ghosted from mist. Nose busted. Ethan. Thorne cuts me loose. Syndicate power. Join. Derringer steady. Blood don't buy betrayal. Lunge atop wheels. Bar arced. Mud splash Potomac. Ethan. Dove. Clawed filth. Hauled it. Ex umbris. Moors. Death from shades. Clarence. Bolted. Cackling. Truth bites. Senate repeal hung. Thorne countered. Rivers fled to Virginia pits. Silver Storm Corps. Shadow. Chased relentless. Kin cracked. Panic jaws gaped wider. Barr birthed secrets. Origin veiled. Clarence depths. Witch horde to shatter thrones. Chapter 3. Veins of Betrayal. Virginia. May 23, 1893. Mud sucked at the carriage wheels as it rattled into the Blue Ridge foothills. Ethan Rivers gripped the reins. The gold bar a cold knot against his ribs. Potomac's silt still caked its edges. The Latin curse, ex umbris mors, mocking him in the dawn light. Senate repeal teetered. Newswires buzzed with filibusters, Cleveland's pleas ignored. Nationwide, banks crumbled like autumn leaves. Over 1,000 gone, unemployment gnawing at 20% in factory towns, prairies turning to dust. Lily rode shotgun, Ledger clutched like a shield. Her temple scar puckered white. Pa, Thorne's list names Virginia senators, bribes to kill repeal, and Clarence, his signature on 3 pages. Betrayal stung deeper than Pinkerton led. Tommy dozed in back, sketching shadows that writhed in sleep. The populist aide, gaunt Senator Hale's man, pointed to a mining camp smoke trail. Appalachia silver pits. Leadville echoes here. Miners striking since Sherman glut. Knights say the witch's vein runs deep. Hide there. Hale sees Cleveland tomorrow. Ethan nodded, doubt coiling. Silver heartland, where populists brewed rebellion. 16-1 chance echoing Bryan's thunder. But Thorne's web spanned pits to parlors. Clarence's laugh haunted, cackling from D.C. fog. Bloodied but unbroken. Wise River Camp sprawled in a hollow. Shacks leaned against slag heaps. Lanterns swung on poles. Air thick with sulfur and despair. Miners, gaunt men with picks like crutches, eyed the newcomers. "Fresh meat from the panic?" growled a foreman, teeth black from ore dust. "Refugees," Ethan said. "Chicago Bank torched, seeking the Silver Witch for justice." Laughter barked. Foreman's name, Jed Harlan, scar bisecting his brow. "Witch?" "Old tale. 93 bar stole from treasury shadows, curses thieves. Shows in dreams, demands blood." He spat. "But pit's real. Silver worthless at 30 cents ounce. Farms gone, wives starve. You got gold." Ethan's hand brushed the bar. "Enough to arm against syndicates." Harlan led to a bunkhouse. Stale bunks, stew pot bubbling turnips. Lily cornered a miner's wife, Sadie from the caravan, now hollow-cheeked. "Your tale's true. Ghost veins," Sadie whispered, eyes darting. "Saw her. Full moon, shaft 3. Woman in silver rags, hoarding panic gold. Miners who touch it. Dead by dawn." Tommy perked. Like Pa's bar, whispers blood. Night fell heavy. Campfire circle. Harlan spun yarns. Bearing Crash 90 rippled here. Argentina silver flooded us. McKinley tariffs killed exports. Now repeal starves the vein. Fists pounded dirt. Brian Wright, Gold Cross crucifies. Ethan shared ledger scraps. Gasps rippled. Thorne bribes. Morgan shorts our silver. Cheers turned to plans. Sabotage rail shipments. March on Richmond. But Ethan's mind churned Clarence. Flashback clawed. 1880s Chicago. Brothers building Rivers and Sons from famine scraps. Clarence, Yale fresh. Ethan, Wall Street calls. Respectability. Ethan, no. Honest ledgers for immigrants. Seed of split. Clarence's hunger for power. Ethan's for pride. Sleep evaded. Bar pulsed under pillow. Dream gripped. Dublin famine. Skeletal hands clutching sovereigns. Shadow woman rose from bog. Silver eyes. Aurum ex umbris. Woke sweating. Tommy watched. "Pa, Clarence comes." Dawn raid. Dynamite boomed shafts. Harlan dragged Ethan out. "Sabotage. Pinkertons blame us. Retaliation." No. Worse. Riders. Crested ridge. Thorne's men. Badges false. Led by Scarface from Louisville. Nose bandaged from Ethan's Derringer. "Rivers. Syndicate claims." Gunfire cracked. Miners scattered. Picks swinging. Ethan. Barricaded bunkhouse. Lily loading his spare Remington. Tommy hid under bunk. Harlan fell first. Chest bloom red. "Harlan!" Ethan roared, firing through slits. Scarface charged door. Bar swung. Skull crack echoed. Man dropped twitching. Escape tunnel. Harlan's last gasp. Shaft 3. Witch vein. They crawled damp dark. Ore-biting knees. Echoes pursued. Boots, thumping, burst into cavern glow. Phosphor veins pulsed silver blue. Heart of camp. Lily gasped. Wall etchings. Latin runes matching bar. Aurum ex umbris victus. Gold from shadows conquers. Center altar. Skeleton clutched identical bar. Woman's bones, rags shredded. Treasury stamp faint. Philadelphia Mint, 1890, Bering Run. "Silver Witch," Sadie panted, joining from side passage. "Real. Hoarded panic gold to force silver standard. Miners killed her 1887 glut." Ethan pried bar. Identical curse. His own bar twin. "Two. Clarence." Shouts neared. They fled deeper. Vein fork. Split. Lily and Sadie one way. Ethan Tommy other. Ethan's path narrowed. Whispers grew. Clarence's voice. "Brother, join." Torch sputtered. Figure blocked. Clarence, lantern high, suit muddied. "You!" Ethan cocked Derringer. Clarence stepped close, eyes fever bright. "Listen, Thorne used me. Silver Stash was his plant to crash Rivers and Sons, buy cheap. But the bars, witches hoard. I found first in Reading Vault collapse. Shadow 1893. Prophecy. Panic births them. Why betray? Clarence's mask cracked. Voice broke. Yale broke me, Ethan. Famine, shame. Beggar brother banker. Thorn promised power. Lily's marriage, Tommy's school. But fire. I lit no match. Thorn did. Truth twisted. Ethan's finger eased trigger. Ledger. Forged half. Real bribes his. Join. Topple him. Bars fund Brian Army. Temptation clawed. Family whole again. But Lily's blood on steps. No. Justice first. Clarence lunged, not attack, grab bar. For us. Struggle. Lantern smashed, dark absolute. Fists thudded. Ethan pinned him. Blood don't bend. Torch relit distant. Clarence whispered. Shaft drops. Witch takes traitors. Pushed him back. Echoing scream. Body crunch below. Horror seized. Kin killer or accident. Ethan retched. Reunited at vein end. Lily pale. Sadie dead. Pinkerton knife. Her hands shook. Ledger blood-smeared. Camp massacred above. Survivors fled. Harlan's widow handed map. Richmond vaults. Thorn's next. May 25th. Richmond under curfew. Militia patrolled Capitol Square. Banks boarded. Runs thinned crowds to ghosts. Ethan pawned pick for disguises. Coal dust faces. Populist safe house. Tobacco warehouse. Senator Hale waited. Cigar glowing. Rivers. Ledger gold. Senate votes tomorrow. Repeal or ruin. Ethan spread pages. Thorn Morgan bribes. Clarence confirmed. Before the pit. Hale paled. Dead. Fell. Guilt knifed. Lily sketched testimony. Tommy drew witch. Bars gleaming. Night raid planned. Steal Thorn's Richmond ledger from Planter's Bank vault. Hale's inside man. Midnight strike. Militia distracted by decoy riot. 16-1. Warehouse stormed. Guards clubbed silent. Vault. Combination whispered. Door groaned. Inside. Ledgers stacked. Gold sacks treasury stamped. Thorn's hoard. Panic profits. Scarface waited ambush. Predictable Irish. Knife flashed. Ethan parried with bar. Clang. Lily fired warning shot. Tommy tripped thug. Chaos. Ink spilled. Pages flew. Grabbed Thorn's master book. Syndicate full web. Morgan bonds. Cleveland loans. Silver shorts crashing farms. Escape. Alley chase. Militia bullets chipped brick. Hid in Jefferson ruins. Breaths ragged. Dawn wire. Senate filibuster broken. Repeal passes narrow. Cheers distant. But Thorn note. Pinned to book. Bars mine. White House next. Lily first. Ethan stared. Bar twins. Witch's gift or curse chain. Lily touched his arm. Pa, Clarence's words. Prophecy. Panic ends. Shadows fade. Tommy. But whispers louder. Virginia veins bled secrets. Betrayal carved deep. Clarence's fall. Witch's truth. Richmond vaults cracked. Path led north. White House climax. Thorn's throne. Panic peaked. Gold shadows lengthened. Family forged in fire. Awaited final forge. Chapter 4. The Golden Reckoning. Washington, D.C. May 26, 1893. The White House loomed through morning fog like a marble tomb, its columns etched against a sky bruised purple by storm clouds. Ethan Rivers clutched the twin gold bars under his coal-dusted coat, their combined weight bowing his shoulders, 60 pounds of shadow metal, etched with curses that now seemed to hum against his skin. Senate repeal had passed by a razor-thin margin yesterday, axing the Sherman Silver Purchase Act, but the panic raged on. Gold reserves teetered at $96 million. Over 15,000 businesses shuttered nationwide. Bread riots scorching Brooklyn to Baltimore. Cleveland's victory tasted like ash. J.P. Morgan's private syndicate already whispered bonds to prop the Treasury, feasting on the carcass. Lily walked beside him, ledger and map folded tight, her green eyes scanning Pennsylvania Avenue's petitioners. Tommy trailed, clutching his witch sketches, whispers silenced, but shadows clinging to his heels. Senator Hale's man had smuggled them past militia cordons. Cleveland sees you at noon. Thorn's men swarm Willard Hotel, move like ghosts. Ethan's mind replayed Virginia Pitts. Clarence's fevered eyes, final scream echoing shaft deep. Kinslayer, savior thwarted. The bars judged silent, their Latin aurum ex umbris victus, Moors, a riddle half solved. Witch's hoard, born of 87 glutton-bearing echoes, panic-forged gold, defying repeal. Clarence's truth gnawed. Use them to arm Bryan, topple syndicates, or destroy, end the curse. Lafayette Square teemed. Populists camped under Coxey's army banners, 500 strong marching from Ohio, demanding jobs. Work, not charity, chants drowned newsboys hawking. Repeal law, but gold drain accelerates. Ethan bartered a silver dime for disguises, ragged vests blending with hobos. White House gates cracked at Hale's nod. Guards frisked rough, bars passed hidden. Inside, corridors gleamed oiled walnut, portraits of Washington and Lincoln staring stern. Aides bustled, telegrams crackling. Unemployment 18%, industrial belts. Rail strikes paralyze Midwest. Oval Room, Grover Cleveland hunched at desk, jowls sagging under lantern jaw. Eyes hollow from bond hagglings. 56, second term, shadowed by depression's bite. Rivers, Hale vouches, speak. Ethan spread Thorne's Richmond ledger, pages blood-flecked from Sadie. Syndicate web, sir. Thorne, Rothschild arm, bribed senators, shorted rails, planted silver in my bank to spark runs. Morgan, ties here. Finger-stabbed entries. Cleveland aides named, secret gold buys. Cleveland scanned, face granite. Morgan's my devil, issued $62 million bonds yesterday. Private gold for treasury. Legal, but voice trailed. Your proof? Ethan unwrapped bars. Gold gleamed unnatural, runes catching light. Shadow, 1893. Witch hoard from Philadelphia mint reading collapse. Clarence, my brother, found first. Thorne twisted him. These conquer from shades. Lily stepped forward, voice steel. Panic births them. Silver glut cursed, now gold shadows feast repeal. Clarence died proving. Use for Bryan army. Expose all. Tommy unrolled sketch. Witch skeletal. Bars clutched. Pitts bleeding silver tears. Cleveland touched bar. Flinched. Cold fire. Folklore says panic spawns such. 73, 87, but real. Treasury logs no twins. Paused. Thorne meets me tonight. Morgan's envoy. Demand surrender. Ethan's gut knotted. Trap sprung. He hunts us. Lily first. Outside, noon bell tolled. They slipped gardens, rose garden thorns snagging. Militia patrolled fences. Coxey rabble swelled square. Willard Hotel loomed blocks away. Thorne's lair, Politico's den. Plan brewed, infiltrate, confront pre-Cleveland meet. Hale's pass forged, press attaché. Lobby buzzed cigars, brandy whispers. Thorne held court, pearl stickpin winking. Scarface nursed jaw at flank. Clarence, absent, corpse or ghost. Ethan posed. Labor scribe, Lily sketch artist. Tommy pageboy. Interview for night's bulletin. Thorne's laugh silk snarl. Irish survivors, bold. Eyes raked bar's bulk undercoat. Shadow calls home. Escalator ascent to suites. Tension coiled springs. Floor 5, oak doors guarded. Tommy slipped decoy. Cried, fire. Chaos flushed guards. Burst in. Parlor opulent. Maps pinned walls. Syndicate webs from London to Leadville. Thorne at desk, ledger open. Scarface drew knife. You. Thorne rose, slow. Bar's mine. Witch folly. Hoard from bearing Argentine silver melt. Recast panic gold. Reading vault hid during 90 crash. Clarence mined first vein, sold me access. Your fire, insurance claim, bank cheap. Ethan leveled Derringer. Lies, depositors bled. Lily snatched map. Morgan Cleveland bond lines, bribe flows. Proof ends you. Thorne smirked. Cleveland needs my gold. Repeal buys time. Sherman dead, but debt mountain. Panic lingers years. Scarface lunged. Bar blocked knife. Clang sparked. Ethan pistol whipped. Man crumpled. Lily fired ceiling warning. Tommy grabbed Thorne's cigar case. Hidden notes tumbled. White House codes. Thorne circled desk. Clarence begged join. Fell refusing shadows. Lie twisted Ethan's doubt. Fury peaked. Ethan swung twin bars. Double flail. Thorne parried Kane's sword. Duel erupted. Kane cracked Derringer. Shot wild shattered chandelier. Glass rained. Lily vaulted desk. Ledger to Thorne's face. Ink blinded. Ethan pinned, bar to throat. For Chicago, Harlan, Sadie, Clarence. Thorne gasped. Mercy, power shares. Tommy yelled, Pa, doors! Militia thundered Hall. Hale's tip, or Thorne alarm. Escape window. Potomac glint below. Bars heavy. Ethan tied Thorne wrist fast. Ledger stuffed pocket. Leap ledge, drain pipe slick. Lily first, skirt tearing. Tommy clung. Ethan last. Bars snagged coat. Pipe groaned. Scarface revived. Knife slashed air. Splash Potomac shallows. Mud sucked boots. Coxey mob cover. Free silver ghosts. Hid alleys. White House sprint. Gates flung. Cleveland waited portico. Flanked aides. Rivers, Thorne. Bound. Proof full. Ethan dumped bars, ledgers, notes. Cleveland poured. Jaw set. Syndicate exposed. Morgan reels. Reserves stabilize. My bonds clean now. Paused bar. Destroy these. Curse ends. Hammer fetched. Ethan swung. First bar shattered. Gold dust swirled unnatural fog. Witch whisper echoed. Victus. Conquered. Second bar. Tommy smashed boy fist. For whispers gone. Dust cleared. Air lightened. Lily hugged Pa. Clarence redeemed. Ethan nodded, mist-eyed. His truth freed us. Dusk fell. Newswires lit. Cleveland crushes conspiracy. Panic turns. Reserves ticked $98 million. Coxey pardoned. Bryan thundered future runs. Richmond wires. Harlan widow rebuilt camp. Chicago. Bank ruins cleared. Farmers repaid IOUs. Ethan family boarded train west. Bars dust in river. Ledgers filed indictments. Thorne jailed. Morgan chastened. Panic of 1893 crested, broke. Gilded cracks sealed gold. Not shadow, but light. Rivers forged anew. Not bankers, but guardians. Shadows fled, repeals dawn. From ashes rose truth. Crisis no curse, but forge for wills unbroken.